Hey guys!
It's July 2nd. The album dropped today. Today. The album is out right now. You can go pick it up.
I don't know why we were pointing down, but
I don't know. Like it's just a
it's
a figure of speech.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I'm Portuguese. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like
it's
I'm
a
like
very
an
European
Italian
thing to
it's
talk
like an
with
Italian.
your
Like
hands.
you know, like if you tie my hands around my back, I can't talk. I can't have a conversation with anybody. Anyways, Judas dropped today. This is the opening track on the second disc. One of my favorites. When I did the album review, I picked 3 songs. This was one of them. The other one was Viva Vendetta, the bloodier, the better. I love that line. But anyways, I love Lord of the Lost.
So wait, the other one didn't make your top 3?
Which other one?
No,
the other one, the one you're talking about was the second single.
Yeah.
That was already out. So like I normally pick songs that haven't been released yet when I do my album review, and I go a little bit deeper into tracks that people haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
What's the point of talking about a song that everybody already heard as a single? It's kind of like defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it?
That's true.
You know, I'm trying to give people a little bit of nuggets, things for them to be excited about the release of the album. Now you can, now the album is out, you can go and listen to it. Now, he hasn't heard this song yet. I've heard the whole album, so obviously I've heard the song, but I haven't seen the video. And if there's one thing this channel can never get enough of, is Lord of the Lost. So anytime we have a chance to check out some of their work,
we're gonna take it.
We're gonna be all over it, like white on rice. Unless the rice is brown, then it would be brown on rice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it up. Judas.
You fill this canvas yourself, Judas, Judas. You draw the lines, no one else, Judas, Judas. When they abuse your name, Judas, Judas. You break your own your story in stone, Judas, Judas. But when your sculpture's defiled, Judas, Judas, you burn your own You found your faith and turned on heaven. Your blame and shame are begun. Judas, Judas, you found your faith when your faith and turned on heaven. Your blame and shame are begun. Judas, Judas, you found your faith when all was blackened. You're now where you belong. Judas, 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 Judas.
It's your first time listening to the song, so I really want you to go first. But I just want to say this. These guys are easily one of my favorite bands, if not my the favorite band right now. This album, Judas, it's just absolutely magnificent. It's going to be one of the best albums of 2021. One of the best things that was released this year. I love the record. I love the concept. I love the ideas. These guys are geniuses. Creative geniuses. Like, if I only had 1% of the genius that these guys are when it comes to like music and videos and the art that goes with it, fuck, man, I could quit my job and do whatever it is that they do.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. This song, fucking amazing. Not my favorite though, but
So far from you haven't heard you haven't heard the full 2 discs. You've heard the singles.
yeah.
All right. So from the singles, this is not one of your favorites.
No, it's not. Well, it is. It's definitely my second favorite. It's better than Priest.
I agree with you.
It's better
Okay,
than
I agree
Priest.
with you. Actually, from the singles, Priest is perhaps my least favorite.
Yeah. The Father Forgive Them. That one is my favorite.
That song is amazing.
That was my favorite. That one is hands down.
That was the second single.
I think I'll
believe.
listen to this whole album, but
Oh,
that will still be my
This
favorite.
album has incredible songs. I mean, I could be here all day. It really does a disservice to the record for me to start picking and choosing which ones. But the moment I heard Viva Vendetta, which is the second track on this disc, so after this one you get Viva Vendetta, that song to me was just like, wow. It's like how can you keep making, like, the first disc is incredible, then you start off the second disc with this song, then you hit me with Viva Vendetta. Like, I mean, how can you keep doing this? Like, but it's just incredible. But
I think
okay.
when I do listen to the whole album, I think that one will still be my favorite. But this one,
I think it's more, not to say that it's more catchy, because I really feel like this is a super catchy
this is
track.
a super catchy track.
But I think the lyrics in that one, this one, the chorus is more just like, you turn your back on heaven, whatever,
Yeah.
Judas, and it keeps repeating Judas. I feel like the chorus on this one, while being catchy and hooky, it doesn't have the same lyrical impact of a one-liner that one does. That one, you don't have to you don't have to digest the chorus that deeply. It's a one-liner, boom, it hits
even
you.
the verses in that song, I love, because
I feel like it's a simpler, it's a more straightforward, linear, simpler track. It gives you what it needs to give you right away.
The lyrics
right?
in the verses of that track I really like, especially
Maybe
going,
the lyrical content you gravitate more towards it.
and also because of his vocals in the verses are his deep vocals
Yeah.
that I love. So obviously that's always going to be
Okay.
number one. But
this one,
this is number 2 so far for what I've listened to.
now the first time I heard the album and this song came on the starting of disc 2, the first vibe that I got was that this had a Jesus Christ Superstar vibe. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. It's a musical, so it's the story of Jesus, but as a musical. Like, I know it sounds strange, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's like the last thing that you would think a musical would.
No,
want.
but the movie is actually, like, the movie is really, I mean, the movie is super old. It's not like it was released like freaking, 2 years ago, whatever. The movie's been around forever. Jesus Christ Superstar, you should check it out. So it's the whole story of Jesus, like from the birth all the way to the crucifixion, whatever, but as a musical. So like John the Baptist, like, it's like a Bollywood movie, but without Bollywood actors, like, if you will, right?
The song starts when he's born, and then like we skip over a couple of years because that's what the Bible
No, everything
does.
everything there's a reason to sing a song, like, you know what I mean? Like,
we have to skip over the first.
You
Like,
get
20
baptized
years
by
of his life.
John the Baptist and you sing a song. You know what I mean? So anyways, this song, the moment I pressed play and this song came on, I felt like it was a very different track from all the other tracks on the record, because it had that Jesus Christ Superstar musical. It has a musical, like a theatrical musical
It has a
vibe
musical
to it.
vibe to it, yeah.
In the video, they kind of played on that as well. So I gravitated to this song as the opening song of the second disc because, like I said, it felt like it broke the mold of everything that was on disc 1. There's nothing on disc 1 that sounds like this. And to be honest with you, there's nothing on disc 2 that sounds like this. It just had that Jesus Superstar vibe. So for those that have watched that movie, know exactly what I'm talking about. It has this theatrical sound to it. You know, especially because you have the choir, Judas, Judas. And if you watch Jesus Superstar, they do a lot of that. Like the guy is singing, let's say John the Baptist is singing, and then the apostles pop out, you know, and they sing like one word. Like you see, it has that musical vibe to it. So when I heard this song, immediately I gravitated towards that. And maybe because I like that movie, maybe that's a reason why I also really like this song.
Probably.
Because I feel like there's a connection there. I really
It
feel
does
like they
sound
were
like a musical,
influenced
though.
by it.
It does sound like a musical.
Yeah, I totally feel like there was a huge influence from that
But
movie
that,
into
that
this
heavy
song.
vocal part, with the scream, I really dig that because it was so different from
Everything else.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of interesting nuggets here. Like you see the coins, like the pieces of silver that Judas took coming out of like he's vomiting them.
And then you see the body of Christ, but it has like blood on it.
Because you know
And the nuns dancing. That was
it was really fun that I'm really happy to see that a bunch of German dudes hire some French French ladies to dance because you could see they were all natural with body hair and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool because they were all in the group of death with Portugal. Unfortunately, we all got eliminated in the first round.
I know.
But hey, it is. We're all like commiserating in our misery. We're all in this together. Exactly. We're all in this together. We're all bounced out. So I thought that was really interesting. The nuns, the nun aspect was really interesting.
I found it funny because they were dancing and everything.
Because I don't think you really got the fact. Obviously, they were dudes. You don't really get the fact that they're dudes until they turn and you see their faces. Because when you're just getting the legs and whatever, it just looks like a scantily clad nun. So I really like that duality of aspects there because it's what you perceive. My view of that is what you perceive of reality and then what reality actually is.
Yeah.
So I really like that idea. I really like that concept. And I like the fact that they give you everything. And then towards the end is when they turn and you're like, holy shit, that's not what I thought it was. So I thought that was really cool. Another element of the video that I really like was the halo. Because beginning I thought was a cock ring. And I was like, holy fuck, that's a huge cock ring. But then I saw him, I saw him moving it towards his head. And I was like, oh, it's a halo. Fuck, I was like, if that's a cock ring, my goodness,
You're
man.
the only person in the world.
It was a gold cock ring. I was like, fuck.
thought that was a cock ring.
Considering how the whole video was going with the scantily clad, the boobs, everything, like, it's not that far off.
You're the only person in this world.
I'm sure I was not the only person.
I'm
sure there's a guy right now in Timbuktu saying, oh, I think that's a cock ring. And then, oh, no, it's just a halo. It's a golden halo. So I thought that was...
God's cock ring.
God is everywhere. So, I mean, he needs something for his girth. I'm assuming he's huge. God is huge. You know.
He's huge.
He's everywhere. Like, he doesn't get much bigger than... I mean, if you're everywhere, you're technically everywhere. So if you're everywhere, you must be huge.
He's huge.
He's huge. So anyways, I thought it was a cock ring, and then I saw going up, and I was, oh, no, it's just a
Halo.
A halo.
Yes.
All right, so crisis averted. I said to myself, crisis averted right there and there. But I thought the video was super visual, and it really plays on the whole vibe of the musical that the song has. And their videos are really interesting to dissect because doesn't matter how much you dissect the video, I always feel like I missed something. I always feel like there's a nugget somewhere in this video that was hidden. Like there's something that is missed upon me. Like I wasn't able to grasp every single thing because there's so many layers to their videos and how everything is done that it's just makes it super interesting. But once again, I really like that choir when they say Judas because like I said, it goes back to like even to Life of Brian a little bit because they also do that in Life of Brian, even though Life of Brian is not necessarily a musical. But I like that aspect of that. It's an old school like theatrical thing, like one person is singing and then the other people hop from the back. Judas,
yeah.
I love that. Anyways, the album is out, so you pre-ordered it. You have it on your iTunes account, so you can go listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be disappointed. But I really feel for an album like this, it's not one of those records that you can just skim through it while you're doing something else. I really feel like you should take some time, sit down, and just like let it all sink in, because the lyrical content is really interesting and there's a lot of information there. And it's not that the album is preachy or telling you a story and this is the reality and you have to confirm or you have to become what I'm telling you that you need to become. It's just food for thought. Listen to it, think about it. Does it make sense? You know, let it rattle around there. And let's face the facts. This song is based on the idea comes from the Gospel of Judas, which was one of the books found in the Dead Sea. I believe it was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was the book of Judas. But keep in mind, the book of Judas was not written by Judas. Was the accounts of,
his followers type of thing.
I don't think he had followers.
Yeah, it was I thought that all the disciples,
his social media presence was really slim.
I think all the disciples had like followers. So
not Judas, the fucking guy hanged himself. If you believe that he hanged, there's also different stories on how he died.
But those are his followers, the ones who don't believe that the reason why he hung himself was.
I think there's just people who perhaps knew him and feel like he's being misrepresented in the Gospel of Judas, in the Bible. So they wrote the Gospel of Judas to give a different perception. I've watched several, because of this album, I actually went and I started doing some research. I sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist. I started doing some research. I started watching some documentaries, real documentaries. I'm not talking about like some guy with a camera on YouTube who sits in his kitchen with his son and does videos. I'm talking about like real shit. I started doing some documentaries, and the Gospel of Judas, if you... One of the because once again, anything that's written and anything you have to translate, people are going to translate slightly different certain words, and then the interpretation of that gospel or of that book is going to be different from each person who reads it, because we all take different things. For music, I listen to these guys and I take one thing out of it. You may listen to them and take something completely different. But one of the interpretations, and I just want to make this really quick, one of the interpretations of the book of the Gospel of Judas is not that Judas didn't do what he did. Is that he's as perhaps not as bad, but he's not the only person at fault in the whole story, because the other apostles, they were not the greatest either. Like they were not good people to begin with either, because in the Gospel of Judas, there's a part there where he says that he ascended to he saw the light, and behind the light came a demon. So some people assume that a demon came and took Judas into this other realm, and some people say it's an angel. Like there's these discrepancies in the translation of the Gospel of Judas. So depending on who you ask, depending what professor you ask, they have a different take on what the Gospel of Judas actually means. But one thing that you can really take from it is that the other apostles were not great.
No,
they're all a bunch of douchebags. So
I knew that like one thing was that Judas was like close to Jesus.
Yeah, and
they were one of I think
he was the closest to him.
He was the closest to him. So all the
apostles, so why would you believe that? First of all, and he was the guy who held the finances of the gang, of the cult, whatever the fuck, the group.
Yeah.
So why would he betray Jesus for some silver when he had control of the money? Like it doesn't make logical. There's no logical to it.
Yeah, for him to betray him.
And we said this in the previous video. If Jesus doesn't get crucified, there's like that's the climax of that story.
Exactly.
He knows himself. I need to be sacrificed. I need to be the lamb, right? The Lamb of God. You know, not the band. Him. You know. So who better than your best friend
to do it?
To do it.
Because he's the only one who can actually do it.
Because he's the only one that loves you so much that he's gonna find you, follow you blindly, regardless of what cost will have to him. And I honestly believe if he commits suicide at the end, he doesn't commit suicide because he regrets what he did. He commits suicide because he feels like he's not understood, and everybody's judging him when he actually did the work of Jesus. He did what Jesus asked him to do.
Yeah.
I didn't betray him. I love him, and that's why I did what I did, because he asked me to do it. So I feel like his suicide is because of that, not because of guilt. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, everybody can interpret their own way.
Yeah.
That's just from the beginning, since I was a kid.
You never want to see him as, you don't want to see someone as the bad guy. And especially because if you look at the whole circumstances of what happened because of him, he's not the bad guy.
I
Because
know,
he
but,
never did
but
them.
for every story,
There has to be
there's a hero and there's a villain.
Yeah.
Jesus cannot become the hero unless Judas becomes the villain.
Exactly. But you also have to look at why, without him, you have to look at without the bad guy, what would happen. And without the bad guy, there's no
good guy.
Exactly.
I also feel like, by the way, Jesus is a little bit of a dick, because when they're having the Last Supper, one of you is going to betray me, the one that I give the bread to. Here go, Judas. Like, come on, dude. Like, he's already doing you a favor and you're throwing the dude under the bus. So at that point in time, if he doesn't want to be crucified, he knows what's going to happen. If he doesn't want to be crucified, he could bounce. Get on a donkey and bounce. But he knows he has to follow that process. So the whole idea that he's being betrayed is bull. You're only betrayed by somebody when they do something behind your back that you don't know that they're doing.
Yeah.
He knew before he was crucified that he was going to be betrayed by Judas. So how can you be betrayed? You can't be betrayed if you know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you had a choice. You could have bounced. You know? So I really feel... and there's other theories out there that it wasn't Jesus that died on the cross. It was actually Judas. That they did a switcheroony. I mean, there's all sorts of...
The Bella twins over here, and they're switching around.
I mean, back then, they all wore sandals and baggy clothes. And they all had long hair and beards. It's really easy to get them all confused. You've seen one Messiah, you've seen them all. You know what I mean? It's just kind of how it is. You know, seriously. Yeah. Like, are you telling me that you could tell the apostles apart? Like Peter, John? Like, no.
No, it just mattered about what color of robe they were wearing that day.
Wow, that's
Which
really
was
interesting.
usually brown or beige.
Or white,
Or
if you
white.
if you
were Jesus,
if you believe in the paintings, which is another thing. Like, how the fuck do people know in which position they were or how they look like? Nobody from that time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many.
Okay, we're going down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
We're going down a rabbit hole here, dude.
Anyways, the main point of the argument is buy the album.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Listen to it. Don't try to find out what the creators meant. Make up your own ideas with it. Yeah. Listen to it, let it all sink in, and then just make up your own ideas and keep those ideas alive and well. This album is just phenomenal. It made me go down that rabbit hole of finding Jesus. You know those documentaries?
Yeah, but now it's Finding Judas.
No, but part of Finding Jesus documentary, there was one special one on the Gospel of Judas. So that's the rabbit hole I went down. Fuck, I can't. Those are on CNN. You know, like, I went down that rabbit hole of Finding Jesus. I remember being up until 3 a.m. trying to find Jesus.
It's not on CNN. It's on History.
No, they were on CNN.
They were on the CNN?
Yeah, it was on CNN. They had a special during Easter, Finding Jesus.
Ah, Finding Nemo.
Turns out they never found him.
They never found him.
Yeah, they're still looking
Unlike Finding Nemo, where they did find Nemo.
That's true. That's true. Some people even believe that Jesus went to India.
Oh.
And he has family there and descendants there. So maybe you're a little bit of Jesus in you.
I have a little bit of Jesus.
Well, your name is Jesus. Your middle name is Jesus. So... You know, one day when you get married, you'll have a little bit of Jesus in somebody else. All right, on that note,
we're going to end it.
Let's end this video. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.